The Singapore River is a river which lies in the central region in the southern part of Singapore, before emptying into the ocean. The Singapore River is approximately 3 kilometers long. Singapore's ancient fishing village called Temasek began at the mouth of Singapore River. Sang Nila Utama later renamed it Singapura, which means Lion City. Temenggong Abdul Rahman arrived in 1818 to start up a village on the left side of Singapore River bank. Then, in 1819 Sir Stamford Raffles stepped foot on the north bank of Singapore River and signed a historic treaty with Temenggong Abdul Rahman. The mouth of Singapore River used to be the old port of Singapore. It was the center of trade, finance, and commerce. There were also government buildings built along the riverside. Since the 1820s onwards, Singapore River was a center of trade and commerce. Even till now, the downtown core area is still Singapore's central business district. There were shipping services, shop houses, and warehouses lining up the quays. Temples, shrines, and places of worship were commonly found along the river bank to allow coolies, traders and businessmen to pray for safe journey and business. Starting in the 1819s, there was heavy traffic on the Singapore River due to rapid urbanization and expanding trade. At the same time, it brought in water pollution caused by the disposal of garbage, sewage, and other byproducts of industries located along the river's banks. Today, the river is part of the Marina Reservoir. The dam is known as Marina Barrage. The port of Singapore was moved to a new location. Thus the Singapore River's economic role has shifted away from one that of trade, towards more a role accommodated for tourism and aesthetics for the commercial zone which encloses it. Singapore River is now lined with skyscrapers, commercial buildings, and entertainment night spots. Attractive business environment. The Singapore River is one of the country's most prominent tourist attractions nestled in the heart of the central business district. The river has a new economic role. Use of land along the river banks while preserving the rich architectural heritage of the river. Hotels and housing. Restaurants. Tourist attracting places, street performances, night market, river activities. Our group has decided to invest in food and beverages. Specifically, a 5-star restaurant. There are hundreds of small restaurants and bistros near the Singapore River. However, what Clarke Quay lacks is a 5-star, posh restaurant. That's why our group decided to invest in a posh restaurant. However, we like to do things a little differently. Our group has come up with the idea of a floating restaurant, or in other words, a restaurant in a boat. That's why our group decided to invest in a posh restaurant. However, we like to do things a little differently. Our group has come up with the idea of a floating restaurant, or in other words, a restaurant in a boat. The boat will be moving slowly through the Singapore River, at a speed which patrons can admire the view of the river and its surroundings. It will not only attract tourists because of its uniqueness but also attract locals and foodies because of its variety of foods. Our boat will have a second floor, with a mini museum on the top, describing the history of the Singapore River. However, this feature is available to bonus members. As this boat will be featured in the middle of the Singapore River, and will be decorated with attractive lights, this boat will be the first thing people notice, bringing fame and profit.
Created using Powtoon.